Girl, I always thought that the reason why I was constantly broke was because I did not make enough money, but that was totally wrong. Anyways, my name is Franca. I am a professional teacher who broke the cycle of living from paycheck to paycheck, and so I've made it my mission to help other people to do the same. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 years of money mistakes that kept me living from hand to mouth. And girl, it is my prayer and hope that by the end of this video you get enough information to help you put your money game on. First money mistake that kept me really broke all the time was that I did not know my net worth. Girl, I had no idea how much I was worth, okay? And so for a long time I was constantly living in deficit. My expenses were always more than my earnings. I had no idea how much I was worth because I never bothered me. I never cared to stop to ask, can I even really afford the kind of lifestyle that I'm living right now? All I knew was that I could afford debt to finance my lifestyle. So we were just living and spending. I'll make the money, I spend the money, and if I did not have enough, I go borrow more to supplement it. I had no idea how much I was worth because I never took the time to figure it out. It never bothered me, okay? All I knew was that I made money, and so I spent the money. And if what I made was not enough, I would go borrow more to supplement it. In layman's term, your net worth is how much you are worth financially. It is your total asset and your total liabilities subtracted from each other. And if your assets are more than your liabilities, then you have a positive net worth. However, if your liabilities are more than your assets, then girl, you have a very negative net worth. And in my case, I was way deep in a negative because all I had to my name were liabilities, loans, a bunch of credit purchases, and rent that was overdue. And the reason not knowing your net worth is going to keep you broke is that it keeps you out of touch with your own reality. You don't know what is going on in your own financial life. Ask yourself, how much am I really worth? Can I really afford this kind of lifestyle that I'm living? Do I have to start making more money, or I can just live on what I have? Otherwise, you might be living in a deficit and not know it. Next money mistake that kept me broke was that I conditioned myself that I needed to make more money before I took my finances serious. So the truth is that you would never make enough money, okay? Any new money that you make today is going to come with a new obligation. And so if there's anything you can do for yourself, it is to give yourself permission to start, even if it is small. Girl, save and invest, even if it's little. Give yourself the chance to take yourself out of that $1 at a time. Instead of waiting to make more money, try as much as possible to keep more of what you already make. Let's say that you make 1,000 cedis a month. You can decide to save 100 cedis and spend 900 cedis instead of waiting to start making 3,000 cedis before you start saving. Next money mistake is having an imaginary budget. Girl, I always had a budget, okay, but it was in my head. It was never on paper. And because of this, I always ended up reacting to purchases instead of sitting down and intentionally deciding that that is what I want to buy. If you keep referring to that budget that you have in your head instead of creating a real one, girl, what you're doing is that you're giving yourself comfort. You're comforting yourself without giving yourself the chance to take control. It is just hope and numbers in your head without any evidence. You end up trying to justify every single purchase, even if it is not worth it. Okay, you try to justify it instead of sitting down and deciding if that is a need. Next mistake is not tracking my money. Girl, because I had no real budget, my money kept disappearing and I had no clue where it was going. And it was very difficult to identify any money leaks that I had going on because I had no structure for how my money went out. I made the money, spent the money, borrowed if I needed to, and repeated the cycle. There was no set time for me to track my pattern of spending. So I just spent. I was just living. Next mistake was keeping high interest debt. Girl, at a point I decided to save, but I gave up that idea and started trying to clear off all the high interest debt that I have. I realized that keeping those monies are going to cost me more in the long run than I will get even if I save the monies I want to save and then invest it. And this isn't to say that all that is bad. No, debt could actually be useful if you know how to use it. But then taking on more debt without knowing how it's affecting you financially is going to hurt you in the long run. Next mistake was chasing trends and hypes. Girl, if I had to be charged for the number of times I chased trends and bought into hypes and trending outfits, girl, I would be guilty. Getting caught in the hype makes you spend impulsively because, girl, you don't even pause to ask yourself if you could afford what you're buying. You just swipe so you could feel that through that everybody's talking about. Next mistake, which really like this is one of the mistakes that I never want to repeat in my life, okay? And it is spending my salary in advance. Girl, I was always borrowing money. I was always borrowing from either my bank or my friends because I never had enough money. I know why that was, okay? I would borrow money this month in the middle of a month. Let's say in February, I'll borrow money in February from my bank. And so when my salary comes, they've already deducted what I owed. And because they've already deducted it, I'm still left with not enough to take care of myself. So I go back to borrow. And if I'm not getting from my bank, I go to my friends. So I was living literally from hand to mouth. And last year, January ago, I had to tell myself that I was done. Yeah, I told myself that I was going to survive no matter what it took. I was not going to borrow. And that month, girl, I don't know how I survived, but I did it. And the last time I went to the bank to clear off a debt, one of the tellers was asking me if I don't want to top up. I looked at her. In my head, I was like, girl, you can't be serious, okay? I am trying to run away from debt, and you want to get me more into it. But then I survived. I survived that month, and now I could say I'm free. Okay, it takes strong will, to say that you do not want to borrow and then you don't borrow. Next mistake was spending on cheap clothing items. Girl, I don't believe that you have to break the bank when it comes to buying clothing items. Okay, I still buy thrifted items, but now I make sure that I buy quality thrifted items. At first, I used to just go buy nice thrifted items. I never cared about the quality. And what happens is that you wash the clothes for 3 times and they are gone. They are literally destroyed, and you have to go buy another one, not even getting value for the clothing items that you bought at first. So make sure that you don't spend on cheap clothing items. Okay, buy quality thrifted items. If thrift is what you want to go, if you want to go buy in a store, like store made clothes, buy quality ones so that you could save yourself money in the long run. This mistake that I have to be honest, I only got rid of this year was using my paycheck, using my pay bump to buy new things, to fix new problems. Go, even before they announce the new percentages for our pay raises, go, I already have something that I have fixed. I have a problem that money is going to solve. I never saved it. But this year, one thing I've started that I'm so proud of is that I am saving every pay raise, okay? And if at a point I feel like I cannot save all the pay raise, I will save half of it. Use the half to pacify myself and start over again. At the end of the day, I am saving my pay raise. Girl, you owe it to yourself to stop living from paycheck to paycheck, okay? It is possible. It is so possible. If I could do it, girl, you could do it too, girl. You could do it too. And that is why I created a step-by-step guide that helped me to stop living paycheck to paycheck in this video. I hope that it helps you to get your money game on, okay? Thank you for watching, and till I see you next time. Take care of yourself.